Good afternoon, or actually, good morning, LinkedIn family. It's a welcome Wednesday, and I always love doing Coffee with Bob's with new connections. And Brittany Baker here is a new connection of mine, who coincidentally we met because she asked to interview me. Brittany is a recruiter for LaSalle, for the LaSalle network here in Chicago, right?
Yep.
And she was just got started out, and one of her tasks was to interview folks like me just to get an idea of the industry and everything that's going on. So I said, hey, let's put you on Coffee with Bob. Let me interview you back. So if you're not connected, if you're not following, if you're not engaging with Brittany, I highly recommend it. I have to say that I've been interviewed a few times. I've been on a bunch of podcasts and stuff like this, and a bunch of Coffee with Bob's, and it was a very pleasant experience being interviewed by Brittany. So hopefully I can do the same for you. Brittany, thank you for being on Coffee with Bob. I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. I'm excited to be here and see you again.
Well,
It was funny because I reached out to you as you're an IT leader in the industry, and that's what I focus on. So I do recruiting for the IT vertical here at LaSalle Network. But I'm still, like you said, green. So I've only been 5-6 months into it at this point. So my task for my boss was to reach out to leaders in the Chicagoland area and just see how I can connect and learn from you guys. And then we ended up talking about Coffee with Bob. So here I am.
well,
But
it was really good. So
yeah.
you're really brand new into the recruiting industry, right?
Yes. So before this, I helped with event management for conferences, world congresses, more of the academic side of event planning.
Mm-hmm.
And that was in England. So I was doing my
Awesome.
master's out there and working, and decided to come back. I was a little far away from home and ended up in Chicago, where I found myself into recruiting. Recruiting is just great because it's what I love to do, which is connect with people and talk with people.
Mm-hmm.
As you know, our interview went over, I think, 15 or 20 minutes. We almost talked for an hour.
Almost an
We
hour,
were,
yeah.
yeah, we were scheduled for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And that's what I love to do. But like I said, still learning the ropes. It's difficult when you are remote. So I onboarded remote because of the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
So I haven't had that, just being able to hear someone on the phone next to me or shadow anyone really, and everything's a Zoom call. So that's where it gets a little bit tricky, but I'm just still finding my footing here in the city because I only
Mm-hmm.
moved here about a year ago. And, I'm just getting kind of settled in the industry itself.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, you do a fantastic job. So
Thanks.
I think you're one of those people that no matter what you're going to get into, I think you're going to be successful at it.
Thank
So
you.
that's good too.
I think something I am really looking for when it comes into like LinkedIn connections or even meeting you and having this conversation now is mentorship. I love talking to people and saying, hey, this is where I wish I would have done this differently.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I really recommend you do this. Especially not, I didn't grow up in Chicago. I'm from Tucson, Arizona. So not having a ton of people here, even just having a work network, I think is so important. And that professional relationship is really what I'm looking for when it comes to someone who has maybe sales experience, recruiting experience, or just experience in the IT industry, which is what I'm focusing on now.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and that's the great thing about LinkedIn, because now you can make these
Right.
connections, and people are more and more willing to jump on a Zoom call now because they're getting used to it.
Right.
I mean, that's why I love doing these Coffee with Bob's. It gives people a chance to get exposure, and someone
Right.
like you who deserves that type of exposure, right?
Have you found it difficult to be completely remote though?
Me, no, not personally. I mean, I prefer it. I'm the, like you said, I'm on the IT side, right? I'm on,
Hmm.
I'm the chief information officer for a little, boutique import export company.
Right.
So, being remote has been natural for us. It's kind of worked out very well. What are you finding as far as people being remote?
Well, personally, I'm a very much, let's grab coffee together in the morning, just even if it's going to the station and
Mhm.
filling up together. And I like those small, quick conversations you have with people. So having to connect and work alongside someone that you don't even really know their personality, you're only emailing back and forth. It is difficult for
Yeah.
me. Because although I do recruiting, I'm actually on the sales side. So I do more of the account management. So I'm working with recruiters who handle our candidates. And it's a lot of partnership with them. So
Hmm.
I want to be able to have that interpersonal relationship with them. So it's definitely been difficult, but they've been pretty creative of having, virtual happy hours and
Yeah.
playing bingo and just trying to get you to talk on Zoom, not only for, hey, did you get this done? Hey, did you send this email
Right.
out,
Yeah.
etc.
Yeah. That's important. I try to do that with my teams too. I mean, we do Thirsty Thursdays,
Yeah, yeah,
and we have virtual happy
exactly,
hours too and stuff like that. I think that's
exactly.
important. But I do miss the face-to-face shaking of the
Hmm.
hand and, kind of kibitzing, around a bar or a table. I used to be in the event management industry too prior to this.
Oh,
So
nice.
yeah.
What kind of events?
We did like trade shows and
Yeah.
incentive programs and stuff like that.
Yes.
Um,
So that's exactly where I used to work in, more of the convention bureau side
Okay.
for different cities, and then we host trade shows or these congresses that would come in and attract 10,000 people, and it's actually really fun but pretty stressful at times.
Do you see yourself getting back into the event management industry?
You know what? Again, it has to do with people, which I love. I don't think I could ever be someone that is more, at home, staying in front of their computer, not having that interaction. For the long haul, but it's not an industry I've closed off completely. I just switched routes once I moved to Chicago. So the opportunity is definitely there if I wanted to go back, but I'm not necessarily looking for that right now.
Okay. All right. That's
Yeah.
it's an industry that's really, I mean, my industry has been impacted by COVID. The event
Oh,
management
yeah.
has been impacted by COVID. So it's
And I always think of going forward, what it's going to look like just as the norm, because I think masks and this social distancing, I don't think it'll ever completely go back to be completely, how it was. Does that
no, I
make
don't think so
sense?
either. No. Yeah, I agree 100%. It's going to be, people are going to be nervous and they're going to be afraid.
For
Even if
sure.
everybody is vaccinated,
Hmm.
100%, they're still going to be, I mean, I walk around with my mask on now, and if I have to sneeze, I panic because I don't want people looking at me really weird. I had to
Yeah.
sneeze.
Or you have to sip your water and you just kind of,
Yep.
but yeah, and I think also people are realizing, business owners are realizing that you can be just as productive at home.
Mhm.
Like, at least for LaSalle, we had an all-time high last year, which is huge for a pandemic year. So that is showing everyone that we are able to do it at home. So I think a lot of people aren't going to be renewing their office spaces and their overhead costs. So that'll be really interesting to see, just with the commercial real estate that is here in Chicago or anywhere really in the United
Right.
States.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. Definitely. So, for those, I mean, it's a weird situation right now, right?
Yeah.
People are either getting downsized or they're getting reduced, and they need to find something different. For those technical guys out there that are really kind of on the ropes looking to do something, what's your best advice for them?
What's actually a great thing to see, at least because I focus on technology, is the technology space has not really been impacted too much. We still have a steady flow of clients calling us, asking us to fill X, Y, and Z roles. So we do other lines of business as well, marketing, recruiting,
Mhm.
sales, recruiting, and those have been impacted a lot more. For technology, for the most part, it's been pretty steady, which I think is huge for people in the industry. But of course, I think I always tell my clients this, like, no one really just goes out and applies to a ton of jobs on LinkedIn. I think if you are looking, it doesn't hurt to use Recruiter. I think people sometimes have a negative connotation for recruiters, that we're just trying to, get all these resumes and send them over to people, but we're really trying to make a difference in your life and find you the connection and the best fit. We're working with tons of clients, and we're not just going to throw your resume to everyone. We're going to make sure it's a viable
Good fit.
opportunity for you. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So
Yeah.
I would recommend, even if you are a person out there looking for a new job and using LinkedIn, that's great, but maybe put your resume into a couple of recruiting companies and
Yeah.
see what sticks. You never
Yeah.
know who has that relationship with a different client. That could be your future company.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great advice.
Mhm.
Brittany is that one connection that could probably change a life. So I highly recommend that you connect with her, you follow her, and you definitely engage with her. She's a bubbly personality, as you can see. No shortage of smiles with Brittany. So, Brittany, thank you very much for being on Coffee with Bob. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. All right, we'll
All
talk
right.
to you soon.
Bye.
Bye bye.